Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome dear students. Today we discuss one of the important topic of corporate finance, that is debenture and charges. I am Dr. Jaswant Saini, Associate Professor, Faculty of Law, MD, University Rohtak, present this topic before you. Debenture play very important role in the functioning of a institution. A body corporate, when required the money, they may be arranged from the loan facility, and these debentures are loan and known as credit facility, and they play very important role in the functioning of a company. As usual, we start every discussion with the learning outcome, and various outcomes here to develop your understanding. First is here to understand the role of debentures in capital market and how they facilitate companies in raising funds for business development. Sometimes we require the funds for expansion of business, sometimes we required for modernization of business, and sometimes we required to change according to circumstances the entire project, and according to government policies sometimes we require to change our raw material process also, our technology also, and various things we required here according to the demand of time and according to the policies of government we change the entire scenario. To gain insights into the legal provisions governing debentures, including relevant sections of the Companies Act 2013 and associated rules related to loans and credits among the companies. And third one, to understand about various types of debentures and the distinction between redeemable and irredeemable debentures, secured and unsecured debentures. And fourth objective of this discussion is here to understand the concept of charges, signifying the company's collateral commitment, securing debentures holders' investment through fixed charges on specific assets and floating charges on dynamic assets. So, major component in this debenture and charges here, types of debenture and how many type of charges. Charges basically the collateral guarantee of repayment of loan, that is known as charges. In corporate bodies that is known as charge, and in case of individual that is known as security. So, debenture is one of the capital market instruments. In the definition of securities, share, debentures, unit, bonds, they include in the definition of securities, and they are also in the definition of instrument. So, debenture is the one of the instrument of capital market. So, basically two markets here, one is known as capital market and another is known as money market. So, debenture is the instrument of capital market, which helps business houses to raise funds from the market for the development of the business. The word debenture has been derived from the Latin word deber, which means borrowing or taking a loan. So, debenture certified that company take loan from outside, and this is the document as used as evidence. This is the evidentiary value of the same. Debenture are the most common form of long-term debt instrument. So, as the name of this one debenture, that indicate long-term loans are here. Issued by corporations. Corporation words indicate that corporate entities. In our Indian scenario, corporation words relates to those institutions which established by a act, either central government act or the state government act. But in the UK relevance, corporation word they use for entire corporate bodies. A company will issue these to raise capital for its growth and operation, and investor can enjoy interest payment. So, if you apply your money in these debentures, it means you are entitled for interest on this investment, and on regular interval the interest will paid by the borrower. Who borrow the money, they are bound to pay interest on regular interval. Regular interval may be indicate here on 6-month basis or year basis. That's depend on terms and condition of the loan. And in case of debentures, in case of loan, in case of credit, in case of borrowings, that's known as interest, or in case of investment, that's known as dividend. So, every person who invests their money with the intention to earn more money, they are in the line of return from their investments. So, interest paid on the loan and dividend paid on the investment, that are relatively safer investment than a company equity shares or stock. If you apply your money in company shares and stock, you are entitled for dividend. But dividend in case when company earn the profit, and where there is a matter related to interest, you claim as a matter of right. But dividend you never claim as a matter of right. Dividend only applicable. You are entitled for dividend if company earn the profit in financial year. Not even company earn the profit, but second rider is here, company declare the profit. It means two conditions here required. Very first, company earn the profit, second, company declare the dividend. At that time, that's you claim as a matter of right, otherwise you never claim dividend as a matter of right. But in case of debentures, loan, credit, borrowings, you always entitled for return in the form of interest. That's the major difference. So, due to the same, this investment is treated as very safe investment. So, very safe investment that's created, dealt if you apply in debentures. So, salient feature of debentures, some of them is here mentioned. Very first, it is acknowledgement of debt. It means once you find out the certificate of debenture, that certified that company take loan from you. And second feature is here, it is issued by the company under its common seal. Company generally represent by their seal, their stamp, but after 2015, that's not an essential condition. For the purpose of some areas, in some context, common seal is not an essential requirement on the part of company. If any agreement enter on the behalf of company by the attorney, in such cases common seal is not an essential requirement. So, debentures can be a secured debentures or may be unsecured debentures. So, there are two type of debentures basically we consider here. One is secured, it means some security is reserved against this amount for guarantee of repayment, and unsecured as per their name, there is no any security reserve as a guarantee of repayment. So, that sometimes treated as naked instrument, naked loan. So, secured loan is very safe loan where security is reserved for guarantee as a payment of the loan. So, rate of interest and the date of payment is predetermined. So, that is the important task here or important relevant matter here. Interest rate and date of payment must be mentioned in this document. This feature certified that document is a debenture. If rate of interest and date of payment is not found in this document, we may be considered at a different type of document in spite of that's treated as debenture. So, to certify the same as a debenture, we need to be establish these two things here. Debenture issued are freely transferable by debenture holders. Once you are owner of any property, either that's a financial property, either that's a physical property, you may be dispose of this property at your own discretion. As and when you required, you may be dispose of this property. So, debenture is also a property, and basically three type of properties here. One is movable property and another is immovable property, and third is IPR, intellectual property, that is known as IPR, intellectual property rights. So, debentures treated as movable property. Debentures movable, it means you move from one hand to another hand, and if we find out these features in any document that is treated as debenture and that is freely transferable from one hand to another hand. So, there are some features which reflected here as a salient feature of the debentures, and in any document if we find out these features, that is categorized as debenture. So, some provisions here we discuss which govern the debenture and the conceptual study of debentures, and these statutory provisions, first as usual, being a student of law, we start with the definitions, and after independence every act section 2 generally deals with the definition clauses, and these definitions are very important for the interpretation point of view. So, these provisions, section 230 define the definition of debenture. Debenture includes debenture, stock, bonds or any other instrument of a company evidencing a debt. It means where there is a debt established, this document in itself self-speaking that company take loan, whether constituting a charge on the assets or not, that is irrelevant thing, but relevant thing is here that prove there is a evidence that company take loan from you. So, these definitions in itself prove that two things: once a document in your hand that is sufficient to establish that company take loan from you. Second, this type of documents may be create a charge against the company property or not, that is not a material thing. It means their discretion of the company, either they create a charge against the loan or not. So, both type of loans are applicable here, either secured loan or unsecured loan. So, the only difference is here, if charge created against this loan, that is known as secured loan. If charge not create against this loan, that is known as unsecured loan. So, major difference is here, rest of the things are not so much important. So, certificate of charge always issued by registrar of companies, and that certificate in itself prove that company take loan from outside and that loan is a secured loan. The instrument referred in chapter 3rd D of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934 and such other instruments as may be prescribed by the central government in consultation with the RBI issued by a company shall not, this word shall not be treated as debenture. So, if specifically debarred by RBI rules which mention in chapter 3rd D or any other instrument with the consultation of RBI, central government declare these instruments not treated as debenture in the eyes of law. So, this particular provision inserted in the statute book in the year of 2020 to deal with the same. Now, we are coming here in this part, either the debentures are movable property, immovable property or intellectual property. That lies in the nature of debenture. Section 44 of the Companies Act 2013 define debenture or other interest of any member in a company shall be movable property. Shall be. It means section 45 decide the nature of this document, and that transferable in the manner provided by the article of the company. How you transfer this document from one hand to another hand, that's defined by article of association of the company. Section 71 deals with the issue and allotment of debenture. A company may issue debenture with a option. So, debenture issue by whom? Company with a option. Option of whom? Option of conversion. It means at the time of issuing the debenture, that's determine either these type of debentures are convertible or debentures are non-convertible or they are PCD, partly convertible debentures. So, basically three type of debentures: non-convertible debentures, partly convertible debentures and fully convertible debentures. Three type of debentures. At the time of issuing these debentures, you must mention in this offer document which type of these debentures. So, wholly or partly you convert the same, or time of redemption you must define at the time of offer this document or offer this certificate. So, these things basically define which type of this document. Approval for issuing debentures with conversion option into shares either wholly or partly require a special resolution passed at general meeting. So, in case of working of companies, the members act with two resolutions. One is special resolution which passed by 2/3 majority and ordinary resolution passed by simple majority. So, which type of debentures issue at the time of offer the document, these required a special resolution. It means company in their AGM must inform to the stakeholders, company wants to take loan and after take this loan, what's the nature of this loan. Either they converted into shares or partly converted or non-converted in future date. So, that is clearly mentioned to the owners, means members or you may say shareholders. No company shall issue any debentures carrying any voting right. So, debentures basically a loan, and in case of loan no any voting right involves. Voting right only available to equity shareholders and preferential shareholders in specific matters. Equity shareholders cast their vote on each and every matter, but preferential shareholders cast their vote in some specific matters only. So, voting right not available to the debenture holders. Debenture issuance under this section compels the creation of redemption reserve fund from profits. Every company who issue the debenture, they must open a debenture reserve account, and this account only maintained from the profit of the company. If company earn the profit, one share of this profit may be transferred to this account. In any future date, when debentures become due, that's not become a immediate liability on the part of company. Company have found sufficient funds. If they transfer the part of the profit on regular basis to this fund, at the time of maturity they easily redeem these debentures. Exclusively earmarked for debenture redemption and prohibiting any other utilization of the company. This fund, if a profit transfer, or towards this fund if profit transfer, this fund only used for redemption of debentures, not for any other purpose. Utilization of this fund for any other purpose totally restricted. This fund only designed or established for the purpose of redemption of debentures. A company cannot issue a prospectus or extend an offer for the subscription of its debentures to the public or its member beyond 500s unless it has appointed one or more debenture trustees. If you want to issue the debentures more than 500 hands, or the size of debenture offer who attract the more debenture holders, in such cases you must appoint the debenture trustees and you enter into the agreement that is known as debenture trust deed. So, this debenture trustees and debenture trust deeds basically designed, basically inserted in the statute book for the benefit of investors who invest their hard savings in debentures. They must protect on the behalf of the entire group. These debenture trustees look after the issues of debenture holders and the conditions for their appointment as prescribed by regulation. It means some rules and regulations are there who prescribed how many debenture trustees we required, what's the rules and what's the obligation of the debenture trustees. So, each and everything governed by rules and regulation. A debenture trustee shall take step to protect the interest of the debenture holders and redress their grievances. So, two activities here on the part of debenture trustees. Very first, they look out the interest of the debenture holders. Second, they redress the grievances in accordance with such rules. It means the entire obligation now comes on the shoulder of debenture trustees. They act on the behalf of entire debenture holders. They look after the interests or they protect the best interest of the debenture holders and they redress the grievances also. If any grievances of the debenture holders with the company, they look after these grievances. And how? Accordance with the rules, accordance with the public policy, accordance with the settled law of the country. So, three things guided to the debenture trustees. Very first, rules and regulation. Second, debenture trust deed. Third one, public policy. And fourth one, settled law on this point. In the event of a company's failure to redeem debentures on the date of maturity, pay due interest, the tribunal role start. Tribunal upon application of debenture holders or trustees. So, you are here, apply your mind. Very first, debenture holders, second, trustees may pursue this matter before the tribunal if on the due date company failed to redeem their debentures money. Can issue an order directing the company to promptly redeem the debentures, settling both principal interest following a hearing involving all relevant parties. So, tribunal order is here compulsion on the part of company. Company is here bound with the order of tribunal regarding redemption of debenture on the due date. Very simple thing behind the same. If company fail to pay the debentures money on the due date, it means company not have the sufficient funds. If company not have the sufficient funds and the debenture holder or trustee approach to the tribunal, in such cases that direction issued by tribunal is an amounts to order, and company is here bound to comply this order. If company fail to comply this order, it means that's a amounts to contempt of court. So that's the legal requirements here. Company pay this amount on due date. If the debenture trustee determines that company's assets are insufficient or likely to inadequate, so two conditions here on the part of debenture trustees. Responsibility of debenture trustees start immediately when they found the property which reserve against these debentures are insufficient or inadequate for discharging the principal amount and interest. When due, the trustee can file a petition before the tribunal. So debenture trustee is here act with the free hands. Being a trustee, you are bound to protect the interest of investors who invest their money as a debenture holder in this company, and they provide this obligation to you on the behalf of themselves. So debenture trustees always act on the behalf of all debenture holders accordance with the terms and condition of the trust deed. Any time if they found insufficient funds or inadequate funds to discharging the principal amount and interest amount on the debentures, they may pursue the matter to the tribunal. After a hearing involving the company and other stakeholders, tribunal may issue order. So again I highlight here this thing, tribunal may issue an order imposing restriction on the companies, incurring of further liabilities deemed necessary in the interest of debenture holders. It means that's the total on the part of debenture trustees or debenture holders. If they once decide to approach the tribunal and tribunal pass the order, this order is a judicial order. So in such cases, there is no any chance to shrink from these orders on the part of company. Company is bound to comply with this order. The central government can set procedures for debentures issuance, define debenture trust deed format. So what's the format of debenture trust deed? That format laid down by central government. Outline inspection. Central government may conduct the inspection of this document also, and central government any time through any representative inspect any company related to any transaction, because central government is the guardian of public money. In this direction, central government allowed to control any business activity of any corporate entity or any institution in this direction. So any copy access for debenture holders, specify debentures, redemption reserve and address related matters. Central government on the behalf of guardian, they look after each and every matter related to debenture and debenture trust deeds, and that's the wide huge power in the hands of central government related to the same. So now the question is here, how many types of debenture? There are various forms of debentures which a company issue depending upon its requirement. Debenture can be issued based on various factors, on the basis of performance, on the basis of security, on the basis of priority, on the basis of convertibility, on the basis of record. So basically if we consider, there are the 5 areas on which basis a company can issue the debentures. On the performance basis, we decide there are 2 types of debenture which are issued by the company. One is redeemable debentures. Redeemable debentures are the debentures where the date of redemption of the debenture are specifically mentioned in the debenture certificate. and offer document is also in the support of that the debentures are redeemable debentures issued where on such date the company is legally bound to return the principal amount to the debenture holder. Not even the principal amount, but the interest due on these debentures also paid to the debenture holder by the company on fixed date. Company is legally bound if company issue these debentures for some specific period and that period mentioned on the face of the record of this certificate, then company is legally bound. This word in itself proves that if company not pay this amount of debentures on particular date, then anyone can approach the court for redemption of these debentures. So, irredeemable debentures are perpetual debentures and perpetuity reflected in these debentures, and they are unlike redeemable debentures. There is no fixed date. If there is a fixed day of redemption, then they are known as redeemable. Irredeemable means no any fixed date mentioned on the face of the record of this certificate. There is no any fixed date. The company needs to pay the debenture holders only when the company goes into liquidation. So, there is a one aspect here, company not take back these document and no need to be pay the redemption on this document. No doubt they are allowed to be sell and buy in the stock exchange, but company not take back this document. So, these are known as irredeemable debentures. And another point of differentiation among the debentures on the security basis. If any collateral is here, then the different type of debentures. If no any collateral guarantee of repayment, then they are known as different type of debenture. Secured debentures, when the debentures are issued by way of creation of charge over the assets. Basically, when we talking about the individual's loan, that's known as security, but we are talking about the security for the purpose of corporate bodies, that's known as charge. So, if charge created, they are secured debentures. The company such debentures are called as secured debentures. If charge not created, then they are unsecured debentures. So, unsecured debentures means they are issued by the companies without creation of charge. So, this without creation of charge indicate that there is no any collateral guarantee attached with these document for repayment. So, in other words, these debentures do not offer any protection to the debenture holders. So, that's totally depend on the investors. At the time of application, you apply in this debentures or not. You must clear before apply your hard savings in any company to buy the debentures. First you consult either these are the secured debentures or unsecured debentures. If they are secured debentures, the guarantee of payment is behind the same. If they are not secured debenture, it means guarantee of repayment is not properly behind this the same. So, if the company is unable to pay principal amount on the due date, that is no problem. You not approach to the company directly unless and until you create a group and you approach the court and your claim treated as unsecured debentures holder in the same. Now, on the basis of priority, we differentiate among the debentures. First mortgage priority, second mortgage priority. It means in order. When company create the order of payment, then they are reflected in their face of the certificate. Basically, the distinction of debenture based on priority can be called as a subcategory of the secured debenture. First mortgaged debentures are those debentures which has first preference over all the other debenture issued by the company. Such preference is claimed at the time of liquidation of the company, when the assets of the company are distributed among the credit holders. First right at the time of liquidation of government dues, second right of secured creditors, and third right of unsecured creditors, and fourth right of preferential equity shares, and another right of equity shares. So that is, and in between them the rights of employees also here, and rights of employees, if relates to 12 months salary then cover under different category, if relates to other dues that relates to a different category. So that is the category under which priority scheme you claim. So priority scheme, first priority to the first mortgage debentures, and after that second mortgage debenture. But this priority arise, or the question of priority arise at the time of liquidation, when the assets of the company distributed among the members at the time of liquidation. Second mortgage debenture, as name suggests, the second preference over the assets of the company at the time of liquidation. It means second preference given to these type of debentures, but at the time of liquidation. After the first mortgage debentures, only after the first mortgage debenture holders are satisfied, the second mortgage debentures claim entertained by the company for principal amount at the time of liquidation. So this is the important thing. You must first ensure your claim is first mortgage or second mortgage, and that required at the time of liquidation or at the time of distribution of these assets among the claimant according to their claim. So on the basis of convertibility also, fully convertible debentures holders have the right to convert their debentures into equity shares. Generally these debentures are convertible or non-convertible, that's reflected in the offer document. When you apply on the basis of offer document, if offer document is silent on this point, you may take option later on, but with the consent of debenture holders. If debenture holder consented for the same, then you insert such options. Otherwise you are not supposed to be insert such options if first not reflected in offer document. So fully convertible debentures means they have the right to convert their debentures into equity shares of the company at a future date at the option of the debenture holders. The conversion ratio or the rights of the debenture holder post conversion and the trigger date for conversion also define at the time of issue these debentures. So few things you must clear, you determine at the time of issuing this document. Very first, ratio of conversion. For example, one debenture converted into 3 shares, this is a ratio, and on which date? After 36 months of the issue of this certificate, you convert the same, you clearly mention. Either these are the partly convertible or fully convertible, that also clearly mentioned. So generally, whose share value is high in the market, they first offer their document, first offer the debentures, and after some time they convert the same into equity shares. That's the benefit to the investors. They easily hold the shares of the company, they easily find out the shares of the company. Otherwise, that's not possible for them to invest in such companies. So partly convertible debentures can be divided into two parts. The first part being the debentures which are convertible to equity shares of the company, and the second part being non-convertible debentures which shall redeem, non-convertible part shall redeem at the expiry of its tenure. It means some part convert after some time and some part remain as a debenture, and that will be mature on the fixed specific date. An option is given to the debenture holder to partially convert its debt into shares of the company. Partially convertible debenture also deemed as optionally convertible debentures. The another name given to these type of debentures are here optionally convertible debentures. It means some of the part converted into shares and some of the part not converted into shares. So, non-convertible debentures, that is a third part here. These type of debenture do not have any option to get converted into equity shares of the company, and they are called non-convertible debentures. These debentures get redeemed at the end of the maturity period. It means on the specific date when that's become mature, on that date this amount will be returned by the company along with interest to the debenture holders, and they are at the time of offer this document clearly mentioned they are non-convertible debentures. So, on the basis of record, another point of differentiation, registered debentures and unregistered debentures. In case of registered debenture, the name, address, name of debenture holder and other details pertaining to holding are entered by the company in the register of debenture. So, each and every company is here bound to maintain the register of debenture, and every entry related to debenture holder must reflected in this register. In such cases, the transfer of debentures from one hand to another hand is recorded in the register like a member register, and this is a transfer register. And if such type of debentures are there, these are known as registered debentures. And unregistered debentures are also called bearer debentures. Like your currency note, when you transfer a 500 rupees note from one hand to another hand, you no need to be fulfill any other requirement. The same thing is applicable when you sell or buy the unregistered debenture, which are known as bearer debenture. No need to be transfer the name in these debentures. They may be transferred from one hand to another hand like a currency note. So, unlike a registered debenture, the company does not maintain the records of such debentures, and the principal amount and the interest is paid to the bearer of the instrument as against the name written over such instrument. These debentures are easily transferable in the market. It means in whose hand we found this document or in whose possession we found this document, that is entitled to claim the principal amount and the amount of interest. It means no need to be maintained the register for such instruments. So, use of debenture money. How company use this debenture money? For what purpose company use this debenture money? Debentures are issued by the company in order to raise funds from the market. Such funds are then used for the company for purpose of research and development, that is the one purpose, and the growth in the market, that is second purpose. So, growth in the market, that is the ultimate purpose. In this particular purpose, you may be insert any type of purpose. Growth of the market, it means if you want to modernization of your goods, of your article, then that is also included in the same. If you want to change the technology, that's also included in the same. So each and every type of purpose is here inserted in growth in the market. So research and development, expansion of business, growth in the market. So for every purpose you may raise the loan, you may raise the money from the market. Debentures or debt financing is preferred over the issue of equity shares for two major reasons. There are two reasons for whom we collect the money after sale the debentures, and issue of debenture does not lead to dilution of the ownership of the company and the cost of raising funds through debt. So there is a two reasons here. One is cost of raising funds and third is dilution of ownership. There is a two different aspects. So this is the some technical area here. I try to explain here. If you raise the fund through loan at the time of prepare balance sheet, you need to be first satisfy the loan, and this loan you satisfy from your profit, certified from your earnings. So you no need to be distribute this earning among the shareholders. First you satisfy the loan amount, and that is also exempted in income tax point of view. So majority of the companies prefer the loan amount irrespective of investment amount, irrespective of equity shares. In case of equity shares, that's reflected in investment, that's increase your share capital, and that's earning not deduct in any way, that's your own earning. And when you distribute among the members in the form of dividend, that's not give any benefit to the company or the owners. You need to be first give the amount of loan at first instance, and that is also helpful to reduce your dividend ratio also, and that's also helpful to protect your, to save your income tax also. So that is cheaper in such manner, not in any other manner. In any other manner, if we consider to invite the money, to invite the investors to invest in equity funds, that's very cheaper irrespective of this loan amount, irrespective of debentures. But in case of debentures interest, debentures payment, that's lower down your liability in income tax. Due to the same, that's considered as cheaper. Otherwise not for any other purpose, that considered as cheaper. Only for this purpose that's considered as cheaper. So there are two type of charges, one is fixed charge and one is floating charge. Fixed charge is a charge over the assets of the company which are not then able to be disposed of in the ordinary course of business. A fixed charge in a debenture is usually but is not always over tangible assets such as the property, land of business, premises, but could be over goodwill and intellectual property. Should the company ever took to sell these assets, they must receive explicit consent from the debenture holder. Basic difference between floating charge and fixed charge: fixed charge always against the tangible property and floating charge always against the intangible properties or live goods. It means which goods are consumable goods. So charge defined in section 216 of the Companies Act. So a form of security over an asset which gives the charge holder the right to have the asset and it proceeds of safe sale appropriated to discharge the debt. Debenture holders are merely lenders to the company and considered to be creditors. Debenture trustee is a licensing officer, or you may say act as a license between the issuer company and the debenture holder. The whole of the property transfer on the name of debenture trustees and they hold the property on the behalf of debenture holders. So, debenture holders are provide their responsibility to debenture trustees and they charge the commission on the same. Fixed charge basically on the land, property, shares, plant and machinery, intellectual property such as copyright, patents and trademarks, goodwill, book debts. On these bases you create a fixed charge. A business that borrows does not typically sell these fixed assets and therefore the fixed charge is applied to protect the repayment of the company debt. Basic idea behind this fixed charge to ensure the repayment schedule, repayment of the loan. Fixed charge basically full control of the company assets, and floating charge in a debenture creates a security interest over changing company assets and by its nature must allow for more freedom for a business. Floating charge gave more scope to the company and company not paralyzed. Company business not paralyzed with the same. Company may dispose of this property also if a floating charge create against the same. Floating charge against the stock and inventory, trade debtors, cash and currency, movable property, raw material, these things against these things create a floating charge. So, journey of floating charge basically start in this leading case. The first recorded English case where a floating charge was recognized, that's Panama, New Zealand and Australian Royal Mail Company case, decided in 1870 Chancellery Appellate Court. The Court of Appeal held that the effect of the document was that the secure creditors could not interfere with the running of the business. That means that's a floating charge. If they interfere with the business, that's a fixed charge. So, credit rating agencies also play a very important role in this direction. In our India, 6 credit rating agencies are working who gave the credit rating to the companies. On the basis of this rating, the loan arranged by the company and the investors apply their hard saving in these companies. The famous example is here, Standard and Poor is the company who provide the credit rating to the companies, and this credit rating AAA, C, D, B, that's BB. So, any debt instrument receiving a rating lower than a BB is said to be a speculative grade. You may also hear these called junk bonds. So many credit rating agencies on the basis of credit worthiness, they gave the credit rate to the companies, and basically this is the one of the example here I highlight here, which assets are engaged in fixed charge and which assets are in floating charge, and what is the nature of fixed and floating charge. Fixed charge is an evidence of the ownership of certain property being encumbrances. It does not judicially affect the ownership of the company's property. Floating charge may be converted in fixed charge. Floating charge is temporary and transferable. It is not any particular assets. It means that shift. And now we are here on summarize part. Debentures serve as crucial capital market instrument for businesses to raise funds. It means we raise funds with two modes. One is through sale of shares, second through sale of debentures. So that is a market instrument, and that also inserted in the definition of securities. Debentures represent an acknowledgement of debt and can be either secured or unsecured with predetermined interest rate. Interest rate must be reflected on the face of this certificate. Debenture vary based on performance basis, security basis, priority basis, convertibility basis and record basis, and offer the options, either they are redeemable, irredeemable or convertible debenture, partly convertible, fully convertible, non-convertible. So these are the some types of the debentures. In debentures, charges signify the company's collateral commitment. Basically, this factor is the very important. Any collateral securities here, that's commitment. It means charge created, that secured debenture. If charge not created, that unsecured debenture. So these are the few points to summarize the entire discussion. Thank you.
Hello, good morning everybody. I am Raghunandan Sengupta. So, I will just give you a very brief excitement area of finance, which is quantitative finance, and that has a huge market starting around about 10 years back, and it is exploding exponentially. So, what do we mean by quantitative finance? Quantitative finance is actually the application of different mathematical and statistical techniques in the area of financial markets, be it say for example derivative pricing, be it in the area of say for example portfolio management, be it in the area of asset liability management, be it in the area of portfolio management. We see that the application has exploded in such a way that there is a huge opportunity for people who have a quantitative background in mathematics and statistics. They can utilize those in the area of finance, but obviously with some prior knowledge of finance as a subject. Now, when we say about quantitative finance, as I said, it is an area of applied mathematics and statistics applied in financial markets. Use of different areas, if somebody is interested to know, we have stochastic calculus, we have derivative pricing, we have operation research, we have quantitative techniques like differential equations, stochastic calculus, time series, and they are heavily used in the area of quantitative finance as I mentioned. Now, we all know that in 1997 the Nobel Prize in Economics, so it is basically the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economics was given to the work of Merton and Scholz in the area of derivative pricing, and after that there has been exponential increase in the area of quantitative techniques in quantitative finance and in the area of different type of derivative pricing. With the advent, moreover with the advent of high ended and sophisticated computing data, big data has come in a very big way, where application areas starting from computing, from different type of algorithm design have been taken up in such a big way that nowadays at least we are able to understand that how high frequency data algorithm trading can be utilized using the concept of quantitative finance in the area of finance as such. But there is a flip side also, obviously when there is a huge amount of development. So, obviously due to some regulation errors or something, there has been some pitfalls, which I think is should be a bullet point for people who are really interested to take up quantitative finance, they should be aware. So, consider the financial crisis in 2008 and later on, and we are seeing different banks are failing, different financial institutions are facing a problem, countries are facing a problem like in Europe, in USA. So, what should be done? So, the main thing is that even if you know the technique is best for people who are investors, who are private players, organizations like banks, governments should use these techniques in a very somber manner, such that the application areas of quantitative finance using the techniques which we learned can be utilized in the best possible way to garner the overall the in depth knowledge a person has in trying to utilize these quantitative techniques in finance. And I am sure that people who have the background, who have the knowledge, who have the sophistication, who have the knowledge of the society can definitely use quantitative finance in a very big way in trying to make their mark in this exciting field which you are going to see in years to come. And I am sure it will be a very exciting learning tool for all the participants who will take quantitative finance as a subject in years to come. Thank you, and I wish all the participants all the best and best of luck for the programs they will take. Thank you.